What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today we've got an exciting solo hunter build that I would like to share with you. This solar build goes perfect with the new Season of the Wish artifact, and it will make for an incredible in-game PvE build. So if you're a hunter trying to put together the perfect build to solo the Warlord's Ruin, or maybe take down Crota and other raid bosses, then this will be the build for you. We're combining two top-tier exotic helmets into this loadout to create the perfect solar hunter. One of these will help you stay alive under the harshest of conditions, and the other will give you a one-shot super that can deal more damage than the game can process. Now obviously you can't wear both of these at the same time, but with how we've got this build set up, both exotics can be interchanged easily, with or without the use of Destiny's in-game build manager. We're combining the Assassin's Cowl and the Celestial Nighthawk. Now the Celestial just saw itself get some updates, and it now provides bonus super energy on precision final blows, and targets defeated by the golden gun will explode and generate super energy. The Celestial Nighthawk compresses your golden gun shot into one massively overpowered shot, and in combination with the new seasonal mods, it's going to deal even more damage, allowing you to drop those dungeon and raid bosses much more effectively. On the flip side to that though, the Celestial Nighthawk doesn't exactly give you any advantages when it comes to staying alive, so this exotic will be reserved for and equipped just before going into damage phases. This is where the Assassin's Cowl comes into play. The Assassin's Cowl does two things. When we defeat enemies with a powered melee or a finisher, we get an instant burst of healing and health restoration, and we gain 8 seconds of invisibility. That's right, we're using invisibility on a solar build. This season's artifact comes with several insanely overpowered mods that are going to amplify solar weapon and ability damage and overall performances, and the Assassin's Cowl is going to create some amazing synergy with this. We'll have endless throwing knives that will be spreading scorch and creating massive ignitions while granting us health and invisibility at the same time. It might be cliche to those Titan and Warlocks out there, but sometimes squishy hunters have to rely on those sneaky invisibility tactics in order to survive those brutal end-game encounters. And when you're in a dungeon or raid, 8 seconds is a lot of time to reposition, reload, and regain composure without having enemies all up in your ass. And since you'll have invisibility at your disposal, you'll have plenty of time to make a quick swap over to the Celestial Nighthawk just before going into damage. And if you do it quick enough, you can even enjoy a few extra seconds of invisibility even after swapping off of the Assassin's Cowl. Since we are swapping off of the Celestial when it's not damage phase, we are losing out on the bonus super energy off of precision kills. To counter this, we are using the hands-on mod with the Assassin's Cowl, so we'll gain an equivalent amount of super energy on each melee final blow. Both hands-on and Celestial provide between 2 and 5% energy on each enemy defeated. As I already mentioned, this season's artifact is filled with mods that are going to enhance our solar abilities, giving both of these exotics incredible benefits. To start with, we have Solo Operative, so when you're in solo activities, you'll deal 15% additional weapon and ability damage. From Whence You Came gives you an extra 5% ability damage against Scorn and Taken enemies, which will benefit you in the King's Fall and Vow of the Disciple raids, the Shattered Throne, the Prophecy, and Warlord's Ruin dungeons. We have Kindling Trigger, so whenever we have Radiance active, all solar weapons will apply Scorch to enemies, which causes a lot of additional damage. We also have Flint Striker, which goes hand in hand with Kindling Trigger, because rapid final blows with solar weapons grant Radiance, giving you a 20% increase in weapon damage. Heart of the Flame will only be beneficial when you're in a fire team, because when you're near allies and cast your super, they'll get Radiance, and you'll get an increase in super damage based on how many allies are nearby. This grants between 6 and 19% additional super damage. If champions are in the activity, then Revitalizing Blast will be needed, because whenever we hit a champion with any of our solar abilities, they become weakened, causing them to take 15% additional damage over 6 seconds. Along with Argent Ordnance, which will be beneficial when running rocket launchers. Rays of Precision is an extremely beneficial artifact mod in the final column that creates ignitions when getting precision final blows, but only while radiant. This is going to synergize so very well with our main choice in exotic weapon, the Sunshot Exotic Hand Cannon. Hand cannons get the Unstoppable mod this season, and with a double dose of Scorch and Ignitions, weapons like the Sunshot are going to be especially lethal this season. There's also weapons like the Skyburner's Oath, Polaris Lance, the Prometheus Lens, or Tiku's Divination that will all benefit from these seasonal mods, but the Sunshot is going to be our bread and butter. It's not the only exotic that we want to use though. There's times when the Malfeasance is going to provide much more benefit. Or the Tractor Cannon, since that's going to give you a 30% bonus in damage when you go into those damage phases. When we do swap off of Sunshot to another exotic, a few of the main legendary weapons that we're looking to take its place will be the Abyss Defiant with Heal Clip and Incandescent, Zaoli's Bane with Incandescent and Explosive Rounds, the Eremite with Envious Assassin and either Controlled Burst or Reservoir Burst. There's also a number of weapons that have traits like Osmosis and Permeability, which allow you to convert their natural energy types into solar, which could be especially beneficial. If we're running a mix of strand and stasis weapons that can create debuffs like Headstone, Chill Clip, or Sever, then using the Dragon's Bite and Torch artifact mods will provide some unique advantages. Torch gives a straight up 5% increase in damage against targets who are affected by strand or stasis debuffs. And when you break a combatant's shield with a stasis or strand weapon, Dragon's Bite will cause that enemy to become suspended or frozen. I really like this artifact mod because it pairs up really well with my favorite new shotgun, the Swordbreaker, and with perks like Pugilist, we'll get extra melee energy on final blows. And with 1-2 punch, we'll get a 100% bonus in damage to our throwing knives after we hit a target with the majority of our pellets. The biggest hangup that many Guardians have with any of the Hunter knife options is their lack of potency against tankier yellow bar enemies. But after a hit or two with the Swordbreaker, along with some scorching knives to follow it up, you'll be able to crush anything that's in your way. And once that enemy turns to dust, you'll be invisible with a full bar of health. Alright, so now that we've talked about the exotics, the weapons, and the artifact mods, let's take a look at this solar subclass. Since we are utilizing Celestial Nighthawk's single shot golden gun, which pumps out an extra 625% damage, we're going to be using the Marksman golden gun option. This increases golden gun's precision damage, it benefits from radiance, it overpenetrates targets, and it will create orbs on precision hits, which makes it a perfect option to use with Celestial. When it comes to our choice in aspects, we're using Knock 'em Down along with On Your Mark. This will give us 5 solar fragments to use. We could use Gunpowder Gamble to get more damage, but the additional fragment is a big plus. And with Knock 'em Down, whenever we are radiant, which is like all the time, final blows with any of our throwing knives will instantly refill our melee energy, allowing us to spam knives that are going to scorch and ignite targets, giving us bonus super energy and giving us health and invisibility. On Your Mark is going to provide us with significant weapon improvements, as it increases handling and reload speed whenever getting precision final blows, and whenever casting our class ability. This provides as much as 45 points of extra handling and reload speed to any weapon, which will really come in handy when in the middle of a DPS phase. Whether we have Assassin's Cowl or Celestial Nighthawk equipped, our choice in fragments remains the same. We're using Ember of Singeing, which is going to grant us 300% bonus class ability regeneration whenever we scorch targets. Ember of Searing to give us melee energy when scorched targets are defeated. This will provide between 8 and 25% energy on each target, allowing us to have our throwing knives much more often. And with Ember of Torches, when we strike an enemy with our knives, we'll gain Radiance. Between this and the other artifact mods that grant Radiance, we will always be able to maintain a 20% increase to weapon damage. By using Ember of Solace, we will get a 50% increase in the duration of Radiance and Restoration effects. And with the use of Ember of Benevolence, whenever Restoration or Radiance is activated, we'll gain a 400% increase to the regeneration of our grenade, melee, and class ability energy. Between these 5 fragments, we will have rapid regeneration of our throwing knives and dodge, which will provide us with a constant source of invisibility and health regeneration when running Assassin's Cowl, along with bonus damage and faster super regeneration when we're running Celestial Nighthawk. When it comes to our choice in armor and armor mods, we want to continue the focus of improving our throwing knives and class ability regeneration. We are using 3 different orb generation mods: the Siphon Helmet mod, the Heavy-Handed Gloves mod, and the Reaper class item mod. Creating orbs will give us armor charges that can be used to increase weapon damage with the use of weapon surges, but they can also provide us with health and other ability energies, which is why I would recommend having 2 separate boots. One to go with Celestial Nighthawk that comes with weapon surges, and on the other set of boots, we're going to be using Absolution, so we get a small amount of energy to each ability when collecting orbs. With the Invigoration mod also applied, we'll gain 10% bonus melee energy whenever collecting an orb, and with Recuperation, we'll gain 40 points of health whenever collecting an orb. We also have Impact Induction on our gloves. We're using this so that melee hits will regenerate grenade energy, which is going to get our healing grenade back much faster. We could also use Focusing Strike to get extra class ability energy instead, but we already have a fair amount of class ability getting restored, and having our healing grenade back faster will really come in handy when things are getting difficult. And finally, on our class item, we're using the Distribution mod, so that when we perform our dodge, we'll gain a small amount of energy to each ability, including our super. Between our selection in class tree, armor, and artifact mods, we'll have superior regeneration of all of our abilities. We'll have our super back insanely fast, we'll have top tier health recovery, and we'll have constant damage bonuses to all of our abilities and weapons, giving us the power to reduce the population of any standing structure down to 0. So if you're looking for a top tier solar build for Season of the Wish, this is it. And with that said, we've now come full circle on today's amazing combo solar build, featuring 2 S-tier exotics, the Assassin's Cowl and the Celestial Nighthawk. I'd love to hear your thoughts about these exotics and solar hunters in Season of the Wish. Let me know what your favorite builds have been so far, and what you've enjoyed most of all out of this season. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran just looking for a new home, then be sure to check out the Discord link in the description below, and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.